on YouTube? This is Hart Collects Comics. Thanks for tuning in to my YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in. It's an early Sunday morning, and I'm back at you guys with another video. Hope that you all have a great Memorial Day weekend and able to get some R&R and some good quality family time in. And so I'm going to show off a few different things today. I have a short haul, stack of haul books that I got off eBay. Not too much. An original piece of art. One used slab to my collection. And I'm just going to also start off briefly with some Captain America talk. I know that you guys out there are all abreast of some of the news that's been coming out this week with Captain America. A few different things, but has to do with this series here that just came out. Was launched on the same day as the DC Rebirth. And when I went to my local, who was open at midnight, to pick up a few books, I saw this, and to be honest, I primarily bought it because it was a Scotty Young variant. At the time of buying this, did not know any of the news that would essentially unfold the next day. And so I have read this, and I have some thoughts on this. So I write for a website called entertainmentbluta.com, and I just did an opinion editorial about this story and some of the changes that Marvel and small groups out there would like to make to Captain America. So I'll leave a link at the bottom in the info section. Please read it, and feel free to comment on that if you'd like. As far as the original art is concerned, I talked about this in another video. I discovered an indie comic book not long ago called Reef Lemming, the World's Toughest Milkman. I think in one of the other videos I showed off the IDW volume. It's all yellow and a compilation of all this guy's stuff. This is the magazine size format for the first issue, and then I think the majority of the stories from the 80s were just done in regular comic book form. But I'm a big fan of this character. It was a new kind of comic book reading for me because I kind of come from a superhero story background. That's just what I was introduced to initially when I first started reading and collecting. So this was a totally different kind of read for me, but I absolutely fell in love with the character. And the creator, David Boswell, has a Facebook group where he was, basically advertising for original sketches for a reasonable fee. And so that came back today as well. Or not today, but a couple of days ago. And this is an original sketch by David Boswell, the creator of Reef Lemming, the World's Toughest Milkman. I don't drink it, I just deliver it. He's got a joint that he's smoking there. He was an occasional pot smoker in the stories. And so I don't have a lot of original art, but happy to have this. He also signed and said thank you in the back. So I look forward to getting a formal, proper frame for this and hanging it up somewhere down here. So that's that. As far as the stack of books is concerned, just found one eBay seller who I go back to, for books. Oftentimes, books that I want to actually read. Sometimes, we buy variants and stuff like that because we like the artwork. But this guy is kind of the guy I go to, not for near mint stuff. Just books that I want to read that are in decent condition, not crap condition, but not necessarily in anything high grade. So this is an early interview with Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird in Comics Interview. I have a very nice copy of this that I thought about getting Kevin to sign, and I wanted to get a second one so that I could have like a nice reader's copy. And you can see here, aside from the cover, they also did some sketches on the inside. Had little panels there on the inside that showed their vital statistics. So there's Kevin and Peter. And so it's an interview from 1985, so it's pretty early on, and I'm, curious to probably read this today, actually, to see some of the thoughts that they had early on as everything first started to take off, and look at how far they've come all these years later. And so that's pretty much it on that one here. Oh, they even got a little Casey Jones love. So that was one. Then they did a lot of mini-series, like limited 4-issue series and stuff, back in the 80s. And every time I see those 1 in 4 issue limited series, I like to pick them up. This was one that caught my attention, and I absolutely loved Black Panther in the Civil War movie. I thought that the actor who played him was fantastic. I also liked his dad. I thought that the dad was great as well. And so when I saw this, I decided to get it. It was very cheap, all 4 issues in pretty good condition. This is one of those guys that when you order, he ends up like shoving 3 or 4 different comics in one Mylar bag, which I don't like, but so I have to rebag all these now. This is number 3, To Save a Nation. I don't know if this is any good or not, but we'll find out. And then the last issue, number 4, Man, Beast, God. And I look forward to the solo movie. And that's another thing, like, there's a lot of people out there apparently who are pushing this idea that folks are annoyed or unhappy that this movie, the solo movie, is going to be featured with 90% black actors. And honestly, I don't think anyone's making an issue that. I am white. I loved his role in the Civil War movie. I'm looking forward to watching his solo movie, which comes out, I believe, in 2017. And so I have no qualms at all whatsoever with the cast. I'm a guy that likes for the characters to remain loyal to their origins and the people who created them. I wouldn't want to see Black Panther played by a white guy, or and I don't want to see other characters changed in that way either. Create new characters if you desire something particular. So that's the Black Panther 4-issue miniseries. One of the characters in DC Comics I always wanted to kind of read more about that intrigued me, that I have read a little bit but not too much, was the Spectre. He just intrigued me for whatever reason. And so I saw the same guy had a lot of 1 through 8, missing number 2 though, so I got to get number 2. And this is a miniseries that was from the 1990s, I believe, 93. This is issue number 1, which is also glow in the dark. I showed my son this, and then there's another issue. I also tweeted them. If you want to check out my Twitter page, you can see like the photo where they're actually glowing in the dark. It was pretty cool. So this cover attracted me, and so I ended up buying them a lot. Here's another pretty nice cover with the Spectre standing behind the city. This is issue 3. I'm missing number 2. Number 4, The Fall of Jim Corrigan. Some great covers in this series. I don't know how many issues it went to, but I have the first 8 with the exception of 2, which I'm missing. Nice cover here by Charles Vess, who I'm a big fan of. Nice to get this because, there's not so many books out there that feature Charles Vess artwork. I have the Spider-Man one that he did. Which one was that? Was it the Web of Spider-Man? Well, I forget, with him in the black costume kind of standing on the building. It has a beautiful painted cover by Charles Vess. I also have a trade paperback called, let's see if I can read it for you, because it says Spirits of the Earth. That's what it is. And that was written and drawn by Charles Vess. And it takes place in Ireland, if I'm not mistaken. Ireland or Scotland, but that was a fun read. And I like Charles Vess's artwork. So this is another one here, not by Charles Vess, but a pretty nice cover, close up on the Spectre. Almost looks like Alex Ross, kinda, but it's not, I don't think. Here's number 7. So now I just got to get number 2 so that I can read these 8 issues. Let's see if my local maybe has it by chance. And this was the other glow-in-the-dark cover. It looked pretty cool, as they glow in the dark. You know, sometimes people like, frown on the gimmicks of the 90s with the hologram covers and the glow-in-the-dark covers. And, I liked it. This thing looks so cool when you turn the lights off. So my son was super impressed by that. All right, so winding down here, I've, again, talking about the early 90s. Next thing I'm going to show here is probably, some of the books that I remember buying myself early on in my collecting in the early 90s when I first started going to a local comic book shop. And I remember buying these books. I still have my reader's copy tucked away. And actually now that I have all of them and I'm kind of looking at them again, I want to start reading them again. So 3 of these I already had, and I was missing one. And I'm going to show off that today. But first I'll show the 3 that I had. So I had this. This is the 91, pardon. There was X-Men #1, Rebirth, I guess you could say, and this was with Jim Lee. Also, there were a total of 4 covers that were in color, and then one of them had a variant, and that particular one happens to be the one that I really don't care for that much. So this was the other one. They're all connecting covers showing the X-Men battling Magneto. I mean, this, rendition of Gambit, the way that Jim Lee drew him, I think was the best. I absolutely loved this man's artwork as a kid. And then the one with Beast, Storm, Jean Grey, and the Professor. These are all 9.8 white pages, that most of which I got relatively cheap. Not that they're expensive books. People, again, they frown because they're not worth anything. But, that's not why I collect these. There's a nostalgic reason for these particular issues. This is the new one that I just got. And this also had a variant with a gray cover and the wraparound. But I actually like the color versions better. So I don't really have intentions on getting the variant version of this. I'm content with these 4. And this is kind of like, might be one of my first sets that I'm putting together, even though it's a small set, only 4 books. This is also in the new CGC case, which are fantastic. And then this is also pretty cool here. Shows some Toy Biz figures from the 90s. The Juggernaut, Colossus, Wolverine, Apocalypse. That's another thing worthy of talking about, the new X-Men Apocalypse movie, which I have not seen, but so far, sadly, it's getting pretty bad reviews. Pretty much all around. But again, I haven't seen it, so I'm going to reserve judgment. I hope that it's good. I love the X-Men. I wasn't, to be honest, wasn't feeling Apocalypse from the very beginning. He just didn't look good in the trailers to me. But anyway, I'm still willing to see it, and I'm hoping that it's going to be good. So maybe I'll try to do that next weekend. I saw Civil War last weekend, and I thought it was fantastic. And that's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And check out that op-ed that I wrote. The link will be in the info section to entertainmentbuddha.com. Just click it, read it, and hopefully you are in agreement. Feel free to comment in the comment section about the video or the article, and I'll catch you guys down the line.